13 shocking cheating scandals in R&B history. They say a perfect song can be ruined by just one wrong note. For these R&B legends, that wrong note didn't happen on stage, it happened in love. Cheating, the kind of betrayal that doesn't just break hearts, but destroys everything in its path. Fame, family, and the fortune built from years of passion. Behind the spotlight and the silky voices were stories of hidden affairs, shattered vows, and regrets that never stopped haunting them. And among them lies one scandal so explosive it tore an entire family apart for generations. A secret love child, hidden from the public eye until the truth came crashing down. So fasten your seatbelt, because you're about to dive into the most jaw-dropping stories of infidelity in R&B history, where desire turned to deception, love turned to lies, and every note came with a devastating price. Usher and Tamika Foster. Usher and Tamika Foster. Their love began like a chart-topping hit, but ended like a heartbreak anthem. In the early 2000s, Usher was unstoppable, the king of R&B, a voice so smooth it melted hearts, and dance moves that electrified the world. Fans screamed his name, and every stage he touched turned to gold. But in 2007, the world gasped when he married his stylist, Tamika Foster. At first, they looked like a power couple straight out of a dream. 2 sons, a mansion in Atlanta, and a life draped in luxury. But behind those walls, the perfect picture began to crack. Rumors crept in like shadows. Whispers that Usher's heart still belonged to Chili from TLC. That temptation followed him on tour. For Tamika, every tabloid headline cut deeper than the last. Imagine seeing your heartbreak splashed across magazine covers for the world to dissect. Fame amplifies everything, especially pain. By 2009, just 2 years after their vows, the fairy tale collapsed. Usher filed for divorce, and what followed became one of the most public and painful breakups in R&B history. Their courtroom battles over custody were raw, emotional, and unrelenting. A love that once looked untouchable had turned to ashes. But as the world watched their marriage crumble, another scandal was already taking shape. One that would blur the lines between love, loyalty, and betrayal. The story of Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz was about to begin. Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz. Alicia Keys, the voice that once defined soul, grace, and empowerment, found herself at the center of one of R&B's most unexpected scandals. In 2009, the world was shocked to learn of her romance with superstar producer Swizz Beatz. The twist? Swizz, born Kasim Dean, was still legally married to R&B singer Mas Honda DeFrere at the time. Mas Honda didn't stay silent. Heartbroken and furious, she took to the public eye, penning open letters that accused Alicia of being the reason her marriage fell apart. She spoke of betrayal, not only from her husband, but from a woman she once called a friend. In her raw confessions, Mas Honda said she'd come home to find traces of another woman and even alleged that Swizz had gifted Alicia a $15,000 painting while still married. At first, Alicia and Swizz denied everything, claiming his marriage was already over before their love began. But the public wasn't convinced. The same woman once celebrated as R&B's girl next door was suddenly branded a homewrecker. Tabloids feasted on the drama, and fans were divided. By 2010, Swizz's divorce was finalized, and months later, he and Alicia exchanged vows in a quiet Mediterranean ceremony, far from the chaos. Today, they share 2 sons and often project an image of peace, partnership, and purpose. Yet, for many, their love story remains bittersweet, a union born from heartbreak, where beauty and controversy still hum beneath the melody. Tamar Braxton and Vince Herbert. Tamar Braxton and Vince Herbert's love story once glittered like a fairy tale born in the spotlight. Tamar, the bold, outspoken diva with a voice that could raise the roof, and Vince, the mastermind producer behind chart-topping hits, weren't just a couple, they were an empire. Together, they built a brand that blended music, money, and marriage, inviting fans into their glamorous world through the hit reality show Tamar and Vince. To millions, They were unstoppable, the ultimate power duo of love and success. But fame has a way of magnifying every crack. Behind the scenes, pressure turned passion into pain. The cameras couldn't capture the arguments, the mistrust, or the growing distance between them. By 2017, after 9 years of marriage, Tamar filed for divorce, and the illusion shattered. Then came a bombshell. On Christmas Day, Tamar accused Vince of cheating and claimed he had gotten another woman pregnant. The news sent shockwaves through social media, especially when whispers linked the other woman to another reality star. What followed wasn't just heartbreak, it was war. Betrayal bled into business. Lawsuits over money and property transformed their once golden empire into a public battlefield. Their story became a warning that when love, fame, and fortune mix, the explosion can leave nothing standing. And just when the dust began to settle, an even darker betrayal was waiting in the shadows. Michelle was never afraid to speak her truth, no matter who it offended. With her fiery voice and raw honesty, she built a career on saying what others were too scared to admit. But behind the fearless woman the world saw was a story of love, betrayal, and survival that nearly broke her spirit. In the late 2000s, she fell deeply in love with music executive Mickey Memphis Wright, a man who promised her the world, fame, and success. But that dream turned into a nightmare. Years later, on Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, Michelle shocked millions when she revealed that during their relationship, Memphis had not only been unfaithful with multiple women, but also physically and emotionally abusive. Her words were raw, painful, and impossible to ignore. She claimed he used his industry power to destroy her, draining the funds meant for her music, spreading lies, and warning others not to work with her. Overnight, her rising career came crashing down, silenced by fear and manipulation. Meanwhile, Memphis moved on, marrying reality star Toya Wright and denying every accusation, even suing Michelle for defamation. What followed was a public war, played out in headlines, courtrooms, and social media, that left scars on both their names. But Michelle refused to stay broken. She turned her pain into purpose, her heartbreak into hits. Every note she sang became a testimony of survival. Her voice, once muted by betrayal, roared back stronger than ever, inspiring thousands of women to reclaim their power. Because in this industry, talent might open doors, but it's courage that keeps you standing when love and loyalty try to tear you down. And speaking of betrayal, the next story takes us deep into a scandal that involved a superstar and two of the most famous women in the world. Chris Brown, Rihanna, and Karrueche Tran. Chris Brown, Rihanna, and Karrueche Tran. Few names have ever been bound together in such a storm of love, fame, and heartbreak. What began as a young, electric romance between Chris and Rihanna became one of the most shocking stories of the 2000s. They were the golden couple of R&B, talented, magnetic, and madly in love, until one violent night shattered their fairy tale and changed everything. After the breakup, Chris tried to rebuild his life and found solace in model Karrueche Tran. For a while, it seemed like he had turned a new page, but the past has a way of returning. Between 2011 and 2015, Chris found himself torn between the two women, spotted with one, collaborating musically with the other. Every twist played out under the unblinking eye of the media. Social networks became battlegrounds of heartbreak, jealousy, and raw emotion. Then came the video that stunned the world. In 2012, Chris Brown confessed, his voice trembling, that he was in love with two women at the same time, Rihanna and Karrueche. It was honest, painful, and impossible to look away from. But love built on scars rarely survives. His reunion with Rihanna was brief, a flicker of what once was. He returned to Karrueche, but their story ended in heartbreak too. In 2015, the final blow came when the world learned Chris had fathered a daughter, royalty, with another woman, while still dating Karrueche. She found out online, just like everyone else, and walked away for good. What started as a love story between two young stars became a cautionary tale, proof that passion, fame, and pain can collide under the harshest spotlight of all. Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. A love story that once felt like a Hollywood fantasy. But every dream, no matter how dazzling, has its cracks. When the pop goddess married the young actor and TV host in 2008, the world gasped. She was an international superstar, over a decade his senior. He was a charismatic rising star with a big smile and even bigger ambitions. Still, for a moment, their chemistry felt undeniable. Their wedding was a spectacle of glamour, their vows renewed every year like clockwork, a symbol of eternal devotion. In 2011, their twins arrived, dem babies, as they affectionately called them, completing what looked like the perfect fairy tale. Yet behind the glittering smiles and red carpet appearances, the melody began to falter. As Nick's career soared, his nights grew longer and his world faster. From hosting shows to spinning tracks at parties, fame began pulling him in a different direction. Then came the radio confession, Nick publicly naming several famous women from his past. What seemed like playful banter to him became public humiliation for Mariah, who had always guarded her private life like a sacred song. Slowly, their once harmonious love turned into two separate rhythms. Mariah found peace in motherhood and quiet nights at home, while Nick thrived in the chaos of celebrity life. After 6 years of marriage, they called it quits in 2014, finalizing their divorce 2 years later. What began as a fairy tale ended in heartbreak, proof that even the brightest stars can lose their shine under the harsh glare of fame. But if you thought that was dramatic, wait until you hear about the singer who fell for a married man and ended up in a courtroom showdown that left Hollywood speechless. Fantasia Barrino and Antoine Cook. Fantasia Barrino and Antoine Cook, a love story that began like a song but nearly ended in silence. When Fantasia won American Idol in 2004, she wasn't just another singer chasing fame. She was a miracle, a single mother with a voice that could heal wounds and a story that gave hope to millions. But the same spotlight that lifted her up would soon expose her deepest pain. In 2009, Fantasia's fairy tale unraveled. She fell in love with Antoine Cook, a man who, to the world's shock, was already married with children. What began as a private romance quickly spiraled into a public scandal when Antoine's wife, Paula Cook, filed a lawsuit in North Carolina, one of the few states where a person can sue for alienation of affection, essentially for stealing a spouse's love. Suddenly, Fantasia's private heartbreak became courtroom evidence. Text messages were read aloud. Secrets were turned into headlines. And then came the most painful revelation. Fantasia tearfully admitted she had become pregnant by Antoine and later chose to have an abortion, believing he would leave his wife. The shame, the judgment, and the crushing weight of betrayal pushed her to the edge, nearly costing her everything, even her will to live. Yet from that darkness, Fantasia did what she always did best. She sang her way back to life. With every note, she turned pain into power, heartbreak into healing. Her story isn't just about scandal or sorrow. It's about survival. Because even the most broken hearts, when brave enough to face the truth, can still find their way back to the music. Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip-hop soul, built her legacy on truth, struggle, and survival. Her voice became the anthem of every woman who ever had to rise after being broken. For years, fans believed she had finally found her peace when she married her manager, Martin Kendu Isaacs, in 2003. He wasn't just her husband. He was her business partner, the man she trusted with her heart, her career, and her fortune. But in 2016, that dream shattered. Mary filed for divorce, and what she uncovered behind the scenes was nothing short of heartbreaking. Kendu had been unfaithful for years, and the other woman was someone Mary had once mentored and supported financially. The betrayal was brutal. Reports revealed he even used Mary's own money to fund secret vacations and shower his mistress with expensive gifts. Imagine discovering that your success had been paying for your own heartbreak. The divorce became a public battlefield. Kinda demanded an unbelievable $130,000 a month in spousal support, forcing Mary to fight not only for her money, but for her dignity. Yet, as she's done her whole life, Mary turned her pain into power. Her heartbreak became the heartbeat of her most soul-stirring music, raw, fearless, and drenched in truth. Still, the scars of that 12-year deception cut deep. Few wounds hurt more than realizing the person you loved most used your own hands to destroy you. And if you thought that story was shocking, wait until you hear about the next legendary artist whose marriage was haunted by endless cheating rumors, with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. Their love began like a dream and ended like a warning to the world. When the R&B bad boy married the pop princess in 1992, it felt like music's royal wedding. Two voices that could move nations, two hearts that beat in rhythm, but came from completely different worlds. Bobby was wild, untamed energy, unpredictable and magnetic. Whitney was grace, discipline, and divine talent wrapped in a smile. Together, they created fireworks, brilliant, beautiful, and destined to burn out. For 15 years, the world watched their marriage unravel. A public love story turned emotional battlefield. From the very start, betrayal haunted them. Bobby later confessed to infidelity, while the tabloids screamed with scandalous headlines linking him to Janet Jackson, even Madonna. For Whitney, those weren't just rumors, they were open wounds. Imagine being the voice of a generation, yet waking up to stories that question your worth as a woman, as a wife. The pressure of fame had already taken its toll, and now heartbreak joined the fight. Each act of betrayal chipped away at her spirit, leaving scars no audience could see. What began as a fairy tale became a tragedy, two stars colliding until neither could shine without pain. But cheating was only the beginning, because what happens when betrayal crosses the line? When a man makes a decision so personal, so irreversible, without his partner's consent. That's when their story shifted from heartbreak to something darker, something that would forever change the way the world saw them both. Ne-Yo and Monyetta Shaw. Ne-Yo built his empire on songs about love, loyalty, and heartbreak. But behind the romantic lyrics that made millions swoon, his own love story became one of the most painful ironies in R&B history. In the early 2010s, Ne-Yo was deeply in love with Monyetta Shaw. They were engaged, raising two beautiful children, their daughter Madeline and son Mason. And to the world, they looked like the picture of happiness. Marriage seemed inevitable. But behind the smiles and red carpet moments, cracks had already begun to show. By 2013, whispers of infidelity spread through the tabloids, and the fairy tale started to crumble. When the breakup finally went public, fans were devastated, until Monyetta revealed the truth that left everyone speechless. During their relationship, the couple had agreed they were done having children. To make that promise permanent, Monyetta underwent a tubal ligation, while Ne-Yo assured her he would get a vasectomy. It was meant to be a shared act of trust and devotion. But that trust was brutally betrayed. Ne-Yo not only left her, he went on to marry model Crystal Renee and fathered more children with her. Monyetta was left carrying the emotional and physical scars of a decision she could never undo, while he built a new life as if their vow never existed. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was deception at its deepest level. Imagine giving up a part of yourself for love, only to watch the person you trusted most create the future you were denied. And as painful as that sounds, the next story might break your heart even more. Ciara and Future. Ciara and Future, a love story that burned bright and broke hard. In 2013, the music world was obsessed with them, the R&B princess and the hip-hop king who seemed destined for each other. Their chemistry was electric. They made hits together, showed up everywhere side by side, and spoke about their love like it was unbreakable. Then, Future slipped a diamond on Ciara's finger, and by early 2014, they announced they were expecting their first child. It looked like a modern-day fairy tale. Ciara was glowing, in love, and dreaming of forever with the man she thought was her soulmate. In May of that year, she gave birth to their son, future Zahir Wilburn, a new life, a new beginning. But just 3 months later, everything crumbled. Headlines erupted with rumors of Future's infidelity. Leaked messages and whispers from insiders painted a picture of betrayal that cut deep, even during her pregnancy. The revelation hit Sierra like thunder. She had just become a mother, was planning a wedding, and building a home, only to discover the man she loved had been unfaithful. The engagement ended instantly. The heartbreak was raw, public, and painfully human. Sierra later admitted she cried and prayed her way through those nights, learning that sometimes love stories that look perfect on the outside hide the deepest wounds within. But pain didn't defeat her. In time, she found peace and real love again. This time with NFL star Russell Wilson, a man who helped her heal and rebuild her faith and love. Still, the scars remained, because being betrayed while carrying someone's child isn't just heartbreak. It's a wound that cuts through trust, pride, and womanhood itself. And when your ex moves on with someone from your own circle, that's heartbreak on a whole new level of drama. Omarion and April Jones. Omarion and April Jones, a love story turned scandal. Omarion, the smooth-voiced frontman of the 2000s R&B phenomenon B2K, had it all: fame, talent, and the woman every man envied, April Jones. Their romance played out under the spotlight on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, where fans watched what seemed like the perfect black power couple. Two beautiful kids, laughter, and dreams wrapped in gold. But in 2016, the fairy tale cracked. Out of nowhere, Omarion and April announced their breakup. No fights, no drama, just silence. For years, fans were left in the dark, wondering what really tore them apart. Then, in 2019, that silence exploded when April went public with none other than Lil Fizz, Omarion's bandmate, his brother in music, and childhood friend. The same man who once stood beside him on stage. It was betrayal in high definition, a love triangle that set the internet on fire. Fans picked sides. Some said Omarion had checked out long before the breakup, while others saw April's new romance as the ultimate act of disloyalty. She claimed emotional neglect and hinted that their love had already died long before the headlines. What followed became one of the messiest, most talked about scandals in R&B history, a painful collision of love, loyalty, and fame. But Omarion did what true artists do. He turned heartbreak into art. From betrayal came rebirth, and some of the most soul-stirring music of his career. Marvin Gaye, The Price of Passion and Pain. Marvin Gaye wasn't just a singer. He was the heartbeat of a generation. His voice dripped with desire, heartbreak, and truth. Every lyric a confession, every melody a wound that sang. Through his music, he taught us what it meant to love deeply and lose painfully. But behind that velvet sound was a man trapped between passion and torment. Twice married, first to Anna Gordy, sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, and later to Janice Hunter. Marvin's love life was a storm of beauty and destruction. His affair with Janice began while he was still married to Anna, a decision that haunted him for years. Yet instead of burying his guilt, he turned it into art. His 1978 album Here, My Dear, wasn't just another record. It was literally part of his divorce settlement. Ordered by the court to give Anna the album's royalties, Marvin gave her something far greater: his soul. Each track was raw, honest, and painfully human. A man confessing everything through music. Even Sexual Healing, his sensual comeback hit, was born from that same chaos. The sound of a man trying to heal himself through his own desire. Marvin Gaye's life was proof that timeless music doesn't come from perfection. It comes from pain, truth, and the courage to turn heartbreak into harmony. If you love uncovering the real stories behind music legends, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another story that changed music forever.